My wife cheated, I became a detective, exposed her lies, and discovered a shocking family secret. Hey Reddit. It all started with the smallest detail. My wife, Emily, had become unusually distant. She used to be so attentive, so full of life, but now her phone seemed to be her new partner. She would laugh at texts she refused to show me, spend hours in the other room on calls, and always had an excuse for staying late at work. At first, I chalked it up to stress. I told myself I was being paranoid, that her behavior was just a phase. But one night, something happened that made it impossible for me to ignore. It was 2 a.m., and I woke up to find the bed empty. Emily wasn't in the bathroom or the kitchen. I finally found her in the living room, whispering on the phone. When she saw me, she froze like a deer caught in headlights. She quickly hung up and muttered something about work. At that moment, I knew something was off. Call it intuition, call it gut instinct, but I had to know what was going on. The next day, I took a leap I never thought I'd take in my marriage. I installed a GPS tracker on her car. I hated myself for doing it, but I couldn't live with the uncertainty anymore. That night, I waited for her to leave for her supposed late shift. As soon as she was out of sight, I opened the tracking app and saw her heading in the opposite direction of her office. My heart sank. I decided to follow her. She drove to a hotel on the outskirts of town. I parked a safe distance away and watched as she got out of her car, looking around nervously. She entered the lobby and met a man. He wasn't anyone I recognized. They embraced, and he kissed her like they'd done it 1,000 times before. My chest tightened. My suspicions were confirmed, Emily was cheating on me. But that was just the beginning. I confronted her the next morning. I told her I knew about the hotel, about the man. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she broke down in tears, begging for forgiveness, claiming it was a mistake and it meant nothing. But I wasn't ready to accept her apologies. I needed answers. Who was this man? How long had this been going on? Was he the only one? I didn't get the answers I wanted from Emily, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. I became a detective in my own life, piecing together every clue, every detail she had tried to hide. I combed through her emails, her texts, her social media accounts. What I found shocked me to my core. There wasn't just one man. There were 3. Each one was a different version of the same betrayal. One was a coworker, the man from the hotel. The second was an old college friend she had reconnected with. The third was a complete stranger she had met online. My wife had been leading a double life, maybe even a triple one. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. This was the woman I had loved, the woman I had promised to spend the rest of my life with. And now, every memory we shared felt like a lie. But the worst part was yet to come. As I dug deeper, I found something that made my blood run cold. Emily wasn't just lying to me, she was lying to herself. One of the men she was involved with was listed as a distant relative on a genealogy website. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but the more I looked into it, the more the pieces started to fit. Emily had been adopted as a child, a fact she had always been open about. But she had never shown much interest in finding her biological family. However, one of her affairs had led her to discover her biological roots. The man from the hotel, the one I had first seen her with, wasn't just her coworker. He was her half-brother. When I confronted her with this information, she was horrified. She claimed she didn't know, that she had no idea they were related until it was too late. But her actions told a different story. She had continued the affair even after learning the truth, hiding it not just from me, but from him as well. The revelation was like a bomb going off in our lives. I couldn't believe the level of deceit, the layers of betrayal. It wasn't just about the affairs anymore. It was about the lies, the manipulation, and the secrets that had been kept from me for years. I decided I couldn't stay silent. Emily's actions had not only hurt me but it also created a web of pain and deceit that extended far beyond our marriage. I reached out to her family, her adoptive parents, to tell them what I had discovered. Their reaction was one of disbelief and devastation. They had no idea Emily had been searching for her biological family, let alone that she had become entangled in such a mess. As the days turned into weeks, I started to unravel even more secrets. Emily had a history of deception that went back long before we met. She had hidden debts, lied about her past relationships, and even fabricated stories about her childhood. It was as if I had married a stranger, someone I didn't recognize anymore. But amidst all the chaos, something unexpected happened. The man from the hotel, her half-brother, reached out to me. He was as devastated as I was, claiming he had no idea about their connection until I had exposed the truth. He thanked me for uncovering the secret and told me he had cut all ties with Emily. It was a small comfort, but it felt like a step toward closure. In the end, I filed for divorce. There was no saving our marriage after everything that had happened. Emily moved out, leaving behind a house filled with memories that felt tainted. I started therapy to process the trauma, to try to rebuild my life from the ashes of what she had destroyed. But even now, as I sit here writing this, I can't help but wonder if there are more secrets I haven't uncovered. Emily's web of lies was so intricate, so deeply woven, that I may never know the full truth. What I do know is that I'll never let myself be blindsided like this again. I've learned to trust my instincts, to pay attention to the signs, and to never take someone's words at face value. The most painful lesson of all? The person you think you know the best can still hide the darkest truths.